Alright, let's get everything rolling here. Let's get everything cooked up. Make sure I got this up. Ready? Alright. Cool. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Truth Podcast. I am your host, Neek Robinsonn. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Today's episode, I kind of wanted to make it be a little bit more laid back. I've been kind of going at some serious topics, but today I kind of wanted it to just be like a little fun thing. Today I kind of wanted to talk about like the scene of movies right now. I think that in the past couple of months there hasn't been like any super really good movies, but like once I think like March kind of hits, I think that everything just starts to come like really fast and really quick. Like I feel like I'm spending a lot of time at the movies, like basically like from March until probably end of summertime, give or take. And it's kind of weird how that happens. Like there's some times of the year where there's just like no good movies at all. I feel like that's like from maybe like after the holidays in like December to around probably like January, February-ish, and then once like March hits, like late March, then everything just starts to come out. And I think that that's kind of weird, that really is kind of happening. But the past couple movies that I really did enjoy, though, that kind of came out here recently, I saw Us by Jordan Peele. I thought that was absolutely stellar. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody if you guys haven't seen it yet. However, if you guys have not seen Us, I'm not even too sure if it's still in theaters right now. I'm assuming that it is because it came out in like March-ish sometime. But yeah, I thought that Us was really good. Yep, it's still in theaters, it looks like. Yeah, it released on March 22nd of 2019. And yeah, I think there's a couple different times that you can still get, at least in my area. So if you guys have not seen Us by Jordan Peele, definitely make sure to go check that out. I think that there's a lot of like hidden gems and meanings in that movie. I mean, the movie's been out for a month, so like honestly, if you guys haven't seen it yet, then you guys are obviously living under a rock or something. But I thought that movie was very interesting, and me being in like the film industry, I feel like that movie was a complete work of art, and Jordan Peele definitely did his damn thing on that. And then another movie that I saw here recently that I thought that was pretty good, that I was kind of unsure of, but I'm a huge like superhero Marvel fan, so I kind of wanted to check it out and to see it before the new movie comes out, which was Captain Marvel. I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of hesitant on this one, but this movie, I thought that it was super dope because it was like, I think it was the first Marvel superhero like starring a woman, if I'm not mistaken, but because I don't think that I've seen any other ones that have starred just the females. It's mainly all the males of the Avengers that get starring movies or whatever. So Captain Marvel, I thought was super dope, and seeing like her superpowers and everything. And I'm assuming that she's gonna make an appearance here in this new Avengers that's coming out here soon, and I'll get to talking about that here in a little bit. But I thought that Captain Marvel was super dope. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to spoil any of these movies, but these are just some that I would definitely recommend you guys go in to see if you guys haven't been to the movies in a while. This came out in March. It came out March 8th of 2019, so it's been out for a little bit over a month. There's still a few different theaters around me that are still showing it, so definitely if you guys haven't seen Captain Marvel, definitely go and check that out. And then the last movie that I've seen here recently was Pet Sematary with Stephen King's Pet Sematary. This came out April 5th of 2019. I'm using this app on my phone. It's called Flickster. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but Flickster, if you guys want to work together, definitely hit me up, because I'd love to work with you guys, because this app is super dope. But basically, like, this does have like the Rotten Tomatoes kind of like installed into it, so it's super dope, and you can like see all the ratings and everything. But a lot of these movies definitely get crappy ratings, and I thought that a lot of them were super good. Like Pet Sematary, I thought was phenomenal. There was definitely like a lot of different twists in that, and I haven't even read the books yet. I'm planning on actually doing that. But I thought that I'm kind of into this whole Stephen King. I think that the man's a genius. So if you guys have not seen Pet Sematary, definitely go and check that out, because it is a great movie. It's basically like the same kind of thing as, like, well, Stephen King, if you guys don't know, he's like one of the best horror movie or horror story authors or book authors out there, and he's wrote like maybe like 90 different books, give or take. This man is like completely insane. I don't even know, but he's been writing since probably like the 60s, give or take, 70s. So this man is definitely he's definitely influenced a lot of the horror movies that we see today, I feel like. But he's a super dope dude, and you know, I watch a lot of like his interviews online and everything, and just kind of hearing like this man's stories and the twisted tales that he's able to come up with is absolutely just insane. Like, you'd think that this guy's like a serial killer or something, but he's not, so it's kind of weird. But getting back on topic though, I think that Pet Sematary was definitely like one of Stephen King's like best works. Basically, like, it's a weird concept. I'm not going to get into everything about it, but there is like an older version of Pet Sematary. I haven't even seen that one. But yeah, like a lot of the older movies that Stephen King has made, like The Shining and It and all those things, like, I thought that the older movies of them were just not really that good. I'm hoping that they're going to bring The Shining back, because I think that The Shining would be super dope to actually bring back into like today's era, because I thought that I think it was Jack Nicholson that starred in that one. You know, I think that looking back at it from the 2019 perspective, back to like what movies were back in like the 80s and 70s and stuff, that movie's pretty corny if you ask me, but back then that was like one of the scariest movies of all time. But I think that if they made that in today's era, it would shock a lot of people, and I think that it would be super dope to actually bring that back. So Stephen King, I know that that's probably in the works, and whoever's working with it, I'm not too sure who made these movies. I'm pretty sure it's probably like Universal or something like that. But you know, I think that Stephen King could make a lot of money off of this film too, and whoever decides to bring up The Shining, because The Shining is like a super dope perspective and a super dope story, and I just think that if they made the movie and brought it back like they did with It and Pet Sematary, I think that movie would absolutely crush it in the box office and everything else. But yeah, so if you guys haven't seen Pet Sematary, definitely make sure to go check that out. And then getting into some of the movies that I'm looking forward to coming out, that are coming out here soon. Obviously, next week, the movie that I feel like is going to absolutely sell out like for a couple of days, I feel like, and I think that this movie is going to be like one of the highest selling movies of all time, in records of like box office sales and everything like that. And that is going to be, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, is Avengers Endgame. This movie, absolutely, I feel like is going to knock it out of the park. After the last Avengers movie, I think that one did like $1 billion in like under 2 weeks or something crazy like that. But the Avengers Endgame, I feel like, is going to, I think that in my city, it's sold out for like the first night already, and like we're still like a week and a half, 2 weeks away from it actually releasing, which is absolutely insane. So, and I know that probably countrywide and worldwide it's kind of the same deal, because the last Avengers movie, I think that it was obviously, like I said, it did over $1 billion in sales, and people were just absolutely blown away with it. And I think that Marvel is definitely like one of the hottest studios and film studios out right now, and they're absolutely crushing it. Like, I don't even understand how they're doing this with their workflow. Like, they have like last year they had Black Panther release in like a month prior to the Avengers dropping, and then obviously like the month after then the Avengers dropped, and then this year they dropped Captain Marvel, and then they are going to drop Avengers the month after Captain Marvel aired, and then I think over the summer they're doing the Dark Phoenix, which is a part of the X-Men series. So I'm assuming that they're going to get into the X-Men after this, and that it's just insane how their workflow is. Like, I feel like they always have a new movie with a Marvel character just coming out, and I really just respect that. But this Avengers movie, I think, is going to be like the top movie of all time. I think that it'll definitely win Oscars next year, or if they're even up for an Oscar. I'm assuming that they are because it's coming out in this year and the Oscars have already taken place. But hands down, I think that this movie will crush it out of the park, and I'm super excited to watch it. I don't think that I'm going to be able to see it on opening night because I got work and got a couple other prior commitments and everything like that. But I'm going to try and squeeze it in. I'm probably going to have to stay off of social media and Twitter and all that stuff because it's just... I'm not trying to get this movie spoiled for me because I think that everybody's going to see it and everybody's going to be talking about it. So definitely, if you guys do not see this movie within like the first probably 48 hours, give or take, I would definitely stay off of social media if you guys do not want it spoiled for you, because there's a lot of people out there that do that, and I don't want you guys to be spoiled from this masterpiece that will be the Avengers Endgame. So definitely put that on your calendars, ladies and gentlemen. That is coming out April 26th, which is actually this Thursday, this week. So that's coming out this week. So definitely make sure to go check that out this weekend. If you guys got some extra time, or if you're like me, just kind of stay off social media until you actually go and see the movie. And then another movie that I keep seeing all over the place is this movie called The Intruder. I've seen a couple of different trailers for this. It's with Deon Taylor, he's the director of it, and Michael Ealy is starring in it, and also Megan Good, and then Dennis Quaid is also one of the main actors in it too, I believe. This is releasing May 3rd of 2019. This movie just looks absolutely insane. Whenever I'm going to the movies, like I've told you guys earlier, when I went to these last couple movies, like all the trailers that I saw prior to the movie actually coming on, I was very impressed with a lot of them that are releasing here soon. So I know that this summer I'll probably definitely be posted at the movie theater. Feels like almost every week almost, but I'm super excited for this Intruder movie. I think that it looks super dope. I think that it's an interesting concept. It seems to me like the Dennis Quaid, his character, is getting ready to move out of this house that Michael Ealy and his wife are getting ready to buy or have already purchased this home, and then it ends up being like Dennis Quaid is not wanting to move out, and he like keeps kind of sticking around the house, and it's very interesting, and the trailers for it look super, super good. If you guys haven't checked out that trailer, definitely make sure to go check that out. And then later in, I want to say, I'm kind of scrolling through this app, shout out to Flixer again, one time for the one time. But yeah, then we got another Aladdin movie coming out. I think that's with Will Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Will Smith is going to be in Aladdin. That one looks super dope. And then we got, oh yeah, this movie is going to be absolutely insane. I know. If you guys have not seen the trailers for this in the theaters, this one's going to be crazy. This one, I believe, is another Jordan Peele movie, if I'm not mistaken. But this movie is called Ma, and it's releasing on May 31st of 2019. This movie looks absolutely insane, bro. Like, I know that I'm going to be posted at this movie, like, probably within, like, the first couple days of it releasing, because this looks absolutely phenomenal. It's basically, like, this older lady gets asked by this group of, I believe, high school kids that, they kind of did like a, hey, lady, can you go and buy us alcohol type deal outside of a liquor store? And then this older lady asked them if they want to party with her, and they go over to her house, and like she ends up like bonding with these kids, and then something bad kind of transpires, and then we end up hearing that the kids don't want to party at her house anymore, and the lady's kind of like stalking them and like doing these weird things with them, with the little kids. So it's a very interesting film. And then I think that I'm thinking that the twist is going to be like all the kids are actually I think that this girl named Ma, basically, like, I think that she went to high school with all the kids that she's hanging out with their parents, because there's like a short little clip inside the trailer that was saying, like, it was one of the dads saying, like, you need to stay away from one of my kids or whatever. And yeah, it just kind of, I think that that's maybe going to be the twist. That's kind of the vibe that I was picking up on it. So I think that that's going to be super, super good. And that's definitely a movie that I'm going to have on my list. That is coming out here super soon. But yeah, and then I think that the last movie that I'm going to kind of touch on, there's actually a couple more on here that I think that are pretty interesting. This one named Framing John DeLorean, I watched the trailer for it this morning. I thought that was super, super good. Basically, if you guys don't know who John DeLorean is, this is kind of like a documentary on his life, almost in a sense. But it actually has like some actors in it too, actually playing his story with actual clips back from when he was creating the DeLorean, which is the famous car that was made famous by the Back to the Future series. So if you guys don't know what the DeLorean is, obviously you guys are kind of living under a rock in the car world, but it's cool. But Framing John DeLorean, I think that looks super good. It's definitely like, I'm not huge into the documentary thing, but that definitely did look like an interesting thing that I probably will go end up in watching. And then there's two more movies that I definitely want to touch on, which is Toy Story 4 and also Child's Play, which is another, which is basically Chucky. So these two movies I think are going to be super interesting. They haven't released a trailer for Toy Story 4 yet, but I've seen the trailer for Child's Play, and I think that Child's Play is going to be kind of nuts. I don't think I've seen the older Chucky movies, if I'm going to be honest. I think that I need to get on that, though. But I think that looks super dope, and I think that with it being released in 2019, it's going to be a lot better quality and everything like that. So definitely make sure to go check those two out as well. But yeah, this is kind of just a little podcast about all the movies that are coming out here soon and that I'm kind of super pumped about seeing. I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit more laid back and kind of give you guys, if you guys are interested in a lot of movies, and you guys are looking forward to any movies, that this is the place that you guys are going to find out about all the different ones. So if you guys definitely want to stay up to date on what movies are coming out and everything like that, definitely download this app called Flickster as well. Again, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, not getting paid to say that. I just believe in the app, and I think that it's super dope. But ladies and gentlemen, that's really it for today's episode. I kind of wanted to just hop on here and talk about some movies, and it's something that I'm really interested in. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week, day, whatever. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. We'll be back next week with another guest. So shout out to my boy Riz for the hoodie. Shout out to Full Moon, rocking this hoodie for today's podcast. But shout out to them, to my boys Riz and Borg, for the merch. And yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today's episode. I'll catch you guys in the next one. My name is Neek Robinson. I'll catch you guys next week on Monday for a brand new guest episode of the Truth Podcast. And we're out of here. Peace.